Welcome to the range. Here with your host, Brandon Brown, and here with your panelists, J.B. Brown, the Honorable, self-proclaimed, Chris Gallen, Rachel Lindley, Cleveland Spears,
0-3 already.
and to the panel today, Alyssa Tenorio.
What's up, girl? Just wait.
I did wait.
Starting it off, JB.
All right, now college basketball just ended, but that doesn't mean that a lot of the futures for these players are just about over with, because pretty much most of the superstars that we all knew about have entered the draft. That means John Wall with his punk-ass dance like this, DeMarcus Cousins, and 3 of his other teammates from Kentucky have entered the draft. Evan Turner has entered the draft, and Cincinnati's freshman phenom Lance Stevenson has entered the draft. So, whatever, that's what they say. Now, mainly my deal is for bringing this up is most of these players, some of these players are ready for the pros, while others are just not ready. They need another year of college ball just to get ready for the NBA with all the physicality. Because most of these boys, they're not playing in physical conferences anyway, and as soon as they get up to the NBA, they're not ready, and then next you know they get bumped down to the D League. Hashim the beat. So my deal is, out of all the players that you know that have entered the draft so far, which player do you feel that needs to be in college just one more year so far?
Well, I didn't read up on how many of the, I know it's supposed to be like 6 or 7 Kentucky players, or 4 or 5 or whatever. I didn't read about all of them. John Wall, you know, he's young and raw, so he should be all right, but it's hard for a point guard to come in and make that transition. As far as Cousins being a 7-footer, it shouldn't be that hard for him. Evan Turner, probably the most NBA ready. Yeah. Lance Stevenson, really didn't see too much from him coming, especially from the transition from high school to college, being one of the top players in his class, and then going to Cincy and not really doing too much, averaging only about 12 a game. So, I mean, he has the physical tools, he has the look to play, but as far as the skill set, I mean, you just don't know yet. And there's some
also Eric Bledsoe.
Eric Bledsoe, I like Eric Bledsoe. To me, he was the best guard on that team. As far as what's his dude from Dayton, Chris Wright, I believe. I'm not too high on him. And Crawford from Xavier, possible, but I mean, just gotta wait and see. But Evan Turner is probably the most ready.
Well, I don't think John Wall is ready. I mean, I always said that even at the start of the year when he was one of the best, best of all college basketball. We all said that, but I didn't think he was ready. I still don't think he's ready, especially after the tournament game when he doesn't know how to kind of run that offense still. After being there all year, they were going on just true raw talent. So there was no way that I could sit there and say he's ready to go, because calling plays in college is way different than calling plays in the NBA. That's just how different. That's how different, the two levels really are. Evan Turner, I think, is ready right now. I mean, he's been in college 3 years. He's played 2 years of college ball because of back problems, his sophomore year. But as a junior, he played lights out. Was really one of the best guards. Was Big Ten Player of the Year. Should be the AP. Was AP Player of the Year. So I mean, he was really good. And so I think right now he is ready to go. But out of everybody else, I mean, John Wall should stay behind another year. Don't forget about also Jordan Hayward from Butler is also talking about entering the draft. Hasn't officially done it yet.
Do you think he will? I
think he will. I think there's nothing left he has to prove at Butler anymore, except for if they think they have a shot next year. But with Matt Howard leaving, I mean, there's no way.
What year is he in?
Well, he's a junior, but Butler does return pretty much the core of that team. So
Matt Howard will not be back next year. That's already been said.
Yeah.
So I don't think Jordan Hayward will be there either.
Possibly. Well, going from men's college basketball to women's college basketball, UConn overcame a first half deficit to win its second straight title in, I believe, 78 in a row. Stanford had that game in control, up at the half, but the beginning of the second half, I believe, UConn went on a 17-3 run, I believe. So, I mean, UConn just completely just took over the game, and Moore, to me, best player in college basketball right now, even though Tina Charles did win the award, the Naismith Award, I believe. So, as far as Stanford, you know, you played the game, you played it the same way you played it when you went to UConn. You was up at the half, you had everything going for you, but you just didn't finish the game out. And if you watched the game, it looked like Stanford just got rattled and just got scared and just, I mean, UConn just came and took it and just ran away with it. I mean, Stanford tried to have a little push at the very end, but it was just not enough. And I mean, that was the first game that UConn won that was in single digits.
Yeah, in the past 78 games.
Yeah, so I mean,
Well, we did call it.
it was closer.
We did.
I mean, that was the best chance the team had
To
to
beat
beat them. And I mean, that was probably the only team that had the chance to beat them.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh.
Maya Moore, she played a good game. Tina Charles played a good game. The young lady from Stanford, I don't want to butcher her name.
Appel?
Huh?
Appel?
The other one. I don't want to butcher her name, but you know, they started off pretty good. But the second half, when that second half came out, they was just missing everything.
Yeah.
They missed everything. They looked at like UConn in the first half, especially for UConn. I think they had, 12 points at
12
half?
points in the first half.
For UConn and that powerful offense to have 12 at halftime, you know Gino was up in it.
Yes.
All the way
He
in.
was all the way up in it. I mean, he even sat Maya Moore down that first half.
Yeah,
That's
he
how
looked
pissed
good.
he was at that team. So, I mean, that's the sign of a great, you don't know if it's just a great coaching or great players. I mean, you would think it's more great players than great coaching because, you know, they say Gino don't coach at all. He just say, just go out there and just do it.
And they do.
And they do it well.
Oh. I don't know. I just think it's kind of cool, though, that UConn won they won it twice in a row, right? And they both won undefeated both seasons. And that's like the first time anyone's ever done that. So, I mean, to see that happen and see that kind of work, that was pretty cool.
All right. And Tom.
Oh, I got one last question. One last question. Do you think UConn will break UCLA's streak, the most consecutive games?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Looks
I don't
like
think
that.
so.
Think they're going to get
I
upset?
think Tina Charles leaving this year, brings them to a, down low. They don't have any down low presence. I know they have one of the best recruiting classes just for women's basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what goes along with the territory, being UConn and everything.
Mhm.
But I mean, I don't think somebody like a freshman can step in and do what Tina Charles did.
Well, you never know. You never know. You can have one of those special freshman players that can do something, but I mean, it's not expected. It just those things kind of happen.
There's no other Brittany Griner out there.
Well, I'm not expecting to see another Brittany Griner. I mean, remember, I'm not trying to say another Brittany Griner or Candace Parker or Shamika Holstal, like when they were freshmen. But I mean, there could be another freshman that could step in, but I'm not saying it's going to be like that kind of like special breed, but it could happen. But,
Well, you know me. I'm big on coaching. I mean, I always look at the coaches. Gino doesn't bring in flashy players.
No.
He never does that. In all his recruiting classes, he's always been. Everybody said, "Oh, he has one of the top ones." Last year, I actually had the lowest recruiting class of all women's basketball, which is kind of interesting to say I won the championship last year. But to say they had the lowest and still continue to be undefeated this year says something about the coaches. You're saying whether it's coaches or the players, it's a mixture of both. Because if you're seeing all these the CBS specials, the ESPN specials, with him on there, Gino coaches and let the players go.
Congratulations, Gino. We'll be right back with more on the radio.